Okay, so just to sum up regarding the gas jets, okay? The only time you touch these is to turn it off. If you notice when you come in, it's in the on position, even though gas can come out of here. We don't play with it. We don't do anything like that. Okay? Next aspect, safety in the room here is this right here, the eye wash station. Let's say a student has sand or something in their eye. What we do is we lead them over to the eye wash station. It's just the sink. We lead them over to it. We turn on one of the waters. Okay, we turn on one of the faucets. And then we position them, we kind of guide them so that their eyes are close to these two orange little flanges here. And then we take their hand, we guide their hand over to this tiny little knob here. And this knob, we pull it, okay, they'll pull it out. And the water is going to form like two little fountains for them. And they will put their eyes down in it and flush it out any type of contaminant that's in it, okay? And then see when we turn it off, it just goes back to normal. Okay. So the eye wash station. Another thing over here, goggles. Goggles are always in these drawers per the table. It's your prerogative. You take out a set of goggles because we need them this lab period, and it's your prerogative. You want to wash them here. Every single table has a sink, and you wash them out. You rinse them out. But if you choose to wash them out, you have to do this quickly and dry them quickly. Not talking to your friends, not distracting, because we have a lab to get started doing. Okay. And if you're going to choose to wash them before you put them on your head, then you have to do it quickly and quietly. Okay. These have to be adjusted for your head as well. When I say it's time to put on goggles, the goggles have to stay on until I tell you to take them off. All right. And they might be uncomfortable, or they might itch, or they might be fogging up. Doesn't matter. Once you put them on, they got to stay on. Okay. This is really, really important. Okay. Once again, we're preparing you for a high school lab environment. All right. Let's talk about substances in the room. Let's say a whole bunch of different chemicals, etc. Okay. Hang on. Let's do this. Okay. Whole bunch of different chemicals, different white powders, etc. Wow. Okay. First things first, you only perform the tasks that I tell you to do in step-by-step directions. Look at all these different powders here. You've performed your task, you've mixed this with this, and you've got your result. And let's say you did it pretty fast, okay? And you're waiting for the rest of the class to catch up with you because I'm going in a step-by-step motion. That doesn't mean you have the ability to take the other chemicals and, oh, let's experiment on our own and see what happens when we mix these two. And they're not in the instructions. That's a big no-no, okay? The reason why there's so many powders here is not for your entertainment. That's for a total of 5 or 6 different periods of students. And this is not cheap, and it takes a while to prepare. So if you have used up your substances, your chemical, performing some experiment that wasn't authorized, A, you could really hurt yourself. B, you're in deep disciplinary trouble, and you're definitely going to be meeting with Mrs. Caston. And C, I got to prepare more of this substance for all the classes you took it from in the future. So I'm not going to be very pleased, am I? The moral of the story is we don't do our own little experiments. We don't take home any of this chemistry. We don't steal it. We don't mess around with it. We have to follow instructions to the letter. If you can't do that, well, that's okay. You won't be doing any labs because I can't put the other 21 students in here and myself in danger. All right. It's a big responsibility. but I think you can handle it. If you can't, okay, well, I'll find something else for you to do. All right. Over here, you have to know where the fire extinguisher is. It's right here. It's in the back wall. In the event of a fire, it's heavy. You would pull this off. You would have to pull a pin here. You'd have to point it at the fire and squeeze this. You have to be pretty strong in order to do it. Now, in reality, would you ever do this? Probably no. Okay, probably not. I would end up doing it, but as a young adult, you have to be trained to know where the fire extinguisher is and how to use it in the event of an emergency. Over here. So we got what? This is hazard chemical storage on the door. Okay. If the door is unlocked for some reason, why are you trying to get in there? It's unauthorized. You can't do that. Okay. Other questions I typically get regarding chemical substances, things like this. We never, ever in this room put any chemical in our mouths. For the same reason, we don't allow chewing gum while we're working with specific chemicals, because the chemical can in theory be in the air and then it goes into the gum and then you absorb it in your body. And it's not a good idea. We don't eat around chemistry for the same reason we don't eat in the bathroom. Okay. So we never ever, based on a bet, a prank, anything like that, put any chemistry in our mouths ever. We have to learn to leave where we work when that bell rings. We leave it in a nice, clean, pristine position, the way it was when we arrived. Okay. It might be wet. It might have some water on it. That's okay. We'll have paper towels. You dry it up. But members of this table don't leave, even if the bell's gone, until this area is clean, because you're leaving a mess for the next 4 kids, the next 4 kids, the next 4 kids who have to come in. And I'm not your mom. I'm not going to be cleaning this stuff up. There's no way. Okay. So we don't eat or drink in the lab, especially during a chemistry experiment. Water is fine in the lab. And if you're 6th period, we can have our snack in the lab. I'll make sure that there's no chemicals out for anything like that. Okay. So there are exceptions to that rule, but once we have the goggles on, we're working with chemistry. No, we're not eating. Anything else I could think of? We don't have any practical jokes in the lab. Okay. We don't do that. We don't scare people, no loud noises, anything like that, because we're working with expensive equipment and people can get hurt. People can get cut. The primary part to this little lecture here is to familiar yourself with the safety equipment we have in the lab and what a code red is. Okay. So if you have any questions about this, just feel free to ask. That's what I'm here for. All right. So hope to see you soon if you're not here on the first day.